More than 300 Nevadans are in our nation's capital right now as part of the Vegas Chamber's annual fly-in to discuss economic issues facing Southern Nevada. One need in our area that's in the spotlight is affordable housing. As more people move in, the number of affordable units shrinks. The Chamber's president tells Fox 5 one solution is a public lands bill. It's being championed by Nevada Senator Catherine Cortez Masto, a Democrat, and Nevada Congressman Mark Amodei, a Republican.
Getting that public lands bill through would have a positive benefit for Southern Nevada, especially when it comes to making more land available for development, because one of the reasons that we're facing a shortage of affordable housing is because there's a lack of land for development.
According to Senator Cortez Masto's office, the Southern Nevada Economic Development and Conservation Act would allow Clark County to develop up to 25,000 acres of public land for affordable housing and business growth. But nearly 2 million acres of federally managed land would be protected for conservation and recreation. It would also expand popular areas like Red Rock and Sloan Canyon. The chamber says the Senate version of that bill should get out of committee next week.